Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. I'm your host Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars X-Wing ETA-2 Actis expansion pack released in 2020. This ship was first seen in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now growing up, I've seen this ship called the ETA-2, the Jedi Starfighter, and also, my personal favorite, the Jedi Interceptor. Now, technically, there's no raw name to that, because I've seen it in many different source materials, but I guess pick your poison, right? So, this is a really interesting miniature here. Again, this is made by Fantasy Flight Games, who has been excelling with the details that we see in these particular ships, especially with X-Wing and Armada. Now, looking at this particular ship here, we have the ETA-2, and then it also comes with the Hyperspace Ring. Now, some people might be looking at this going, well, didn't the ETA-2's Hyperspace Ring have 6 engines? You are correct. It seems that FFG gave us the 2-engine variant from Episode 2, but here's a little sneak peek of what's to come in the video. The Delta 7 actually does fit onto the ring. That's right, these ships do connect in here. You can see a little hole right about there. They fit in there just fine. And we're going to see how they look in there in just a few. But I just wanted to bring it up that it is kind of weird that they gave us the wrong ring to go with this particular ship. But what are you going to do? I guess we're lucky we got the ring to begin with, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm glad to have it. And this is a great set. I picked this up at Red Seal Gaming, located in South Amboy, New Jersey. If you're in the area, I'll put some links down below. You could check out their website and whatnot. Great people there. So getting back to this particular miniature set, this vessel measures under 1 inch. That's right, it is very small. But it has a lot going for it, like a lot of FFG ships. So I really have a lot to talk about today, and I want to get the ball moving. If you're new to my channel, what I'd like to do is go over everything that comes in this set with a fine-tooth comb. We're going to take a look at the dials, the tokens, the cards, look at the ship, the tiny details on it, see what we're really paying for. We'll take a look at the paint, put it on a stand, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. And now it's time for my favorite part of these videos, the dial token roll call. First up, 1 maneuver dial, 4 ship tokens, which are double-sided, 2 focus tokens, 1 stress token, 2 evade tokens, 2 deplete tokens, 2 shield tokens, 1 strain token, 2 lock tokens, number 13, 1 critical damage marker, 2 charge tokens, 3 force charge tokens, 3 ship ID tokens, and finally 1 dial ID token. So that does it for all the dials and tokens. Now let's take a quick look at those cards. Alright, looking at the cards that come in this set, we're going to begin with the ship cards. So like in all my videos, I will go over the name of the card. If you would like to pause the video to read the data below, by all means go right ahead and continue when you're done. First up, we have Aayla Secura, Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Shaak Ti, Yoda, Jedi General, and finally, 1 Transgale Meg control link, which is the Hyperspace Ring. So that basically does it for all the ship cards that come in this set. So now let's take a quick look at the upgrade cards. For those upgrade cards, first up we have Extreme Maneuvers. Then we have a card called Jedi Commanders, which has 2 sides. So here's the first side, and here's the second. Marge Sabo Closure, Patience, R2-D2, and finally, the Cellular 31 Hyperdrive. So that does it for the upgrade cards, so now let's look at the quick build cards. For the quick build cards, we have 4 in this particular set, so here's the first one, here's the second, the third, and finally the fourth. So that does it for all the dials, tokens, and cards that come with this set. So now let's have a quick look at the rules. For the pamphlet that comes with this set, on the first page we have all the components that come with the Jedi Starfighter. As we can see, it labels everything from tokens to the ship itself, all the way down to the cards. On page 2 and 3 we have some new rules, which talks about purple maneuvers, deplete tokens, strain tokens, and how to utilize the Hyperspace Ring. So some pretty awesome information in here. And finally, on page 4, we have our copyright crap, with all the people that worked on this particular project. So all in all, that is everything I have to say about the rules. So let's take a look at this beautiful ship. And now looking at this beautiful ship, since this expansion comes with two different components, what I'm going to do is first look at the ETA-2. We're going to go over all the major points and look at the mold. And then we're going to take a look at the Hyperspace Ring. After that, then we'll move on to paint. Now, since this is so small, I learned my lesson from the V-Wing. We're going to combine the major points and also all the details into one segment. So let's get started. First of all, we have our cockpit, which is in the center. You can see the beautiful recessed windows there. Great, I love that TIE Fighter look. Beautiful, we have our recessed windows. Also looking pretty good. The paint's a little iffy here and there, but for the size, I really don't care. I think it's awesome. Now, turning the ship this way, we can see our astromech right here with arms or legs. Very nice. We have our ion cannons right here. Laser cannons in the front. Looking pretty awesome. Again, our cockpit. And then our radiator panels, which we could see some beautiful detail in there. And then if I turn it, check this out. Each panel is molded. How sick is that, right? That's awesome. Really cool. Now, taking a moment to look at the detail here, we could see a lot of line work, which is pretty cool. Some modules, different barrels for the weapons. Again, recesses for the windows. And look at this, negative space right here. That is amazing. Just very nice. I think this came out great. Now for the bottom, we have our peg port for the stand. Again, our laser cannons and some beautiful mold in here. Fantastic. And look at this line work. Amazing. And then our engine thrusters in the aft. Just look at that. And nothing's flat. When I turn this, you can see everything's popping up there. Really cool. And then looking at those engines, you can see they are recessed in, which is nice. Very nice. Now on the wings, right here, these panels, we can see some nice line work, some raised sections, and some beautiful molding. And one of my favorite points about this is right here where this hinge should be. We see this little circle here, like it's a hinge. Now, sadly, these do not close or open. It's static, but the amount of detail on here is pretty awesome. All in all, a very nice looking vessel. I just love all the detailing on here. And the paint's not bad either. Just beautiful. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. How do you like those radiator panels? Detailed beautifully. And now moving on to the hyperspace ring portion. We have our two engines on the sides, which look pretty good. We have our docking port in the center. And then our support ring that goes around, which is pretty awesome. And then in the aft, we can see our engines are recessed in and painted pretty cool. And then if I turn this, we can see the docking port, how it's recessed in, which is nice. Now for this support structure here, we could see some recessed areas, some raised sections, and some line work, which is very nice. And in just a few, we're going to put some ships in here. So brace yourself for that, because it's a pretty cool segment. But regardless, very nicely done. Looking at the front, we can see the beautiful detail in there. And on the bottom, look at that. That's nice, right? They did a decent job with this. And this hole here is for a peg to fit in, so ships could dock into there. So really neat. But for the center, that pretty much does it. Very nice. Now, looking at the ring itself, we can see some beautiful mold in here. Nothing is flat. You have different layers here, line work. Some great stuff. And the paint is pretty cool as well. Nice exterior. Looking at the side here, we can see how cool it is. Nicely done with line work. Like the illusion of paneling here is just fantastic. You can see underneath. Very cool. In the aft section, nicely done. We see a couple doodads right here. Same for this side, which is awesome. And then we have our top, which is pretty awesome. You know, this whole thing looks great. Nicely detailed. And what I really love is the attention to detail. Connecting the ring to the engines, we have these nice supports on the top and bottom, which are very detailed. Looking good with all that line work. Same for this side. Beautifully done. We have our fronts. Just exquisite. And then on the bottom, it's similar to the top. We have these nice raised sections and line work coming all the way down. Just beautiful. Very nice. And I like how nothing is flat. You can see right here on the bottom, we have all these little antennas and these sections that protrude out. Just fantastic. We have our peg right here for the stand, or I should say the port. So pretty nice. Looking at the back real quick. Sick. Now for my favorite part of this, we have our engines. You can see how nothing is flat here. We have little recesses, line work for the thruster section. Recessed in the front, which looks great. Just very detailed, and they didn't hold back, and that's what I really enjoy about this particular miniature here. Little grate there, looking good. Very nice. For this side, you can see in the recess there, the little thruster section. The outer side with the grate, some little doodads there, some nice line work. Again, recessed in the front. And then we have our interior, which is nicely done. All in all, a really great addition to the set. So now let's see how the ships dock with it. So now real quick, I want to discuss how ships can dock with the Hyperspace Ring. Now first we're going to use the ETA2. As you can see, there is a nice recess here with a peg port. So if I grab the ETA2 right here, what you're going to want to do is line it up. So that way the peg goes in that port. And you're going to want to push down like so. You see that? You heard that little click? That means it's in tight. And there you go. So you can see the front here. The side, which looks pretty good. The aft. And the top view. So all in all, pretty good. You can see how it is flush in there. Looking pretty sharp. Nice. You can see the bottom there. Cool. Now, I'm going to take this out real quick. And we're going to look at a couple other different vessels here. Now, the first one is the maroon Delta 7. Again, you just slide it in like so. It fits in really good. Now, you can see it doesn't exactly fit 100% like the ETA2, but it works. And you can see the front there, the side, the aft, and the top. Looking pretty good. You can see there is that gap there. But I think the colors match better with this configuration here. What do you guys think? So the last one we're going to take a look at is the single release version of the Delta 7. I like to call this one, you know, Anakin's because it's yellow. But this one, we could see the color difference here is going to make it pop a little more. You can see that gap right there. So it doesn't fit 100%, but it works. Again, we have the front this side, the aft, bottom, looking pretty cool there, and then the top. Very nice. So which one do you guys think looks better in here? Let me know in the comments below. And that's everything I have to say about the mold concerning the ETA2 and the Hyperspace Ring. All in all, it's a very cool looking ship and a nice accessory to go with it. So now, let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on the Star Wars X-Wing ETA2 Actis expansion set, altogether including the ship and the ring, there is about 9 different colors here. First up, we have off-white and maroon for the main colors. And as we saw when we did our close-up, it looks pretty good. You know, the maroon and off-tan or off-white really work well with the Republic, and I love the color scheme. I think it's awesome. You could see it does have a slight gloss to it at times, especially on the underneath, which is pretty cool. I do like that. It gives it a fresh look. Moving on from there, we do have red for the astromech droid. We have yellow, which is scattered throughout the hyperspace ring. And these little tiny slits here and there. I don't think there's any on the bottom, no. But it's also on the open circle fleet emblem on the fighter, which is pretty sick. Moving on from there, we do have glossy black for the cockpit windows. Now, they're a little messy here and there, but again, for under an inch in size, I'm not going to complain. I think they look great. Moving on from there, we do have dark gray for the interiors of the radiator panels right here on the underneath, and the aft section for the thrusters, and that includes the hyperspace ring. So pretty interesting there. We also have black for the paneling, similar to a TIE fighter, which looks cool. Very nice. And then we have green, and it's mostly on the hyperspace ring, but it just stands out and it's awesome. You can see it coming around the top. Very nice. And even on the bottom there. Cool stuff, right? You can see some green right there as well. And in the front on these connector ports here and here. Very cool. Now, besides all that, we do have some normal black, which is similar to what's on the radiator panels for the Republic symbol. And it's located here, and look how neat that is. And on this side, and there should be one, yeah, right here. So all in all, very nice. And for the most part, very clean. For the size, squares are squares, rectangles are rectangles. And all these designs are pretty good for the most part. Nice stuff. Now, besides all that, the final color is a beautiful black wash. Now, some may argue that it might be a little too much, as you can see here, and in the front of the ship. But I buy it. I think it's great, because these are ships during a time of war. So you expect them to be a little, dirtied and a little scruffed up. So I like it. I think they look awesome. And that black wash does a fine job of filling in all these lines and panels and really bringing this ship to life. We can see everything's showing up through that mold and paint. And it looks extremely detailed and very nice. Sick. So that does it for the mold as well as the paint. So now let's put this baby on a stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. And just like other X-Wing vessels, you get a clear translucent base and 2 little rods you connect together to make a large pylon. Peg it in like so. Then grab your hyperspace ring. This one's a little tight, so be careful. And that's how far I could get it on. It doesn't want to go all the way. But just like that, you are good to go. That's what I would be saying if we didn't have another one to do. That's right, you get another base and 2 more rods to connect together. Peg it in like so. Grab your ship. Again, be gentle. You don't want to break it. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Star Wars X-Wing ETA-2 Actis seen in the center with its Hyperspace Ring. I have some other X-Wing vessels we're going to compare it to. First, on the right hand side, we have our Tri-Droid fighter, which looks amazing. And on the left hand side, we have the Republic V-Wing starfighter. And for a bonus size comparison with the ETA-2 seen in the center, first, on the right hand side, we have the Trade Federation droid starfighter looking great. And finally, on the left, we have the Delta 7 Jedi Starfighter, which also looks amazing. These are some beautiful looking ships. Now, if you're interested in seeing reviews of any of the ships I showed today, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars X-Wing ETA2 Actis expansion pack released in 2020. Now, when I found out that FFG was making Republic-era vessels, I was ecstatic. I think I was more excited for Armada, but the X-Wing vessels looked sick, to say the least. Now, when I found out they were making this particular ship, I was very excited. You see, most of these ships are in the 1 to 270 scale, so to have this compared to the Delta 7 or even the Millennium Falcon, technically they should be in scale with one another. It might be a little off here and there, but on the whole, I'm very happy with what I saw. This is a great ship. And when I got it and found out that it came out with the Hyperspace Ring in the package with it, I was blown out of my socks, man. I thought that was the coolest little add-on they could have done. Now, in my humble opinion, I hope that one day, you know how we get these expansions, just release a bunch of different Delta 7s and ETA-2s with different colored hyperspace rings to match. People would buy that in a heartbeat. Now, I know some out there have, really taken to these with the paintbrush and done some amazing jobs, but for those of us like moi who can't really paint that well, it would be cool to get that option from FFG or Atomic Mass Games in the future. But regardless of all of that, this is a great expansion that gives you not only a beautiful vessel here, well, two if you want to count the engine room as separate, but you get everything you need to add this to your Republic squadron. You get cards, a little pamphlet for the rules, maneuver dial, and dozens upon dozens of different tokens, so you're able to fly this baby. And I think it's a great addition to the set. And before I conclude, one last thing, I wish it came with the Hyperspace Ring with 6 engines. Besides that, I'm really impressed with this, and I do recommend it, especially if you play for the Republic faction of X-Wing. And that's basically everything I have to say about this awesome looking ship today. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button, and if you want to see new reviews every week, subscribe. Again, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.